All right, you want to hop into some underrated, overrated?
Sure.
Probably the best part of the show. I mean, can we agree?
Most fun by
definitely
far.
Today. It should hopefully be the most fun. I don't have a ton of calendar based initiatives. RIP MLK.
Yeah,
can't talk about that too much. I guess. But definitely underrated MLK.
That holiday is coming up.
Are you doing anything for the weekend? Are you working Monday? You probably are. No respect for the federal holiday.
Not to. Back to the hotel conversation. I will be at the lovely Margaritaville in Cape Cod.
Oh, I heard it's brand new. It's wonderful. Yeah,
it's supposed to be good.
You just go away every weekend.
Again, young kids.
This guy's going to Super Bowl. He's going to Margaritaville, Cliff House.
We got a lot going on the weekend. So try to let the hair down a little bit on Saturday. And Sunday.
Love that.
So we'll be checking out on Monday morning and probably coming back and just answering some emails, getting some things done. Make sure I hate starting behind the 8 ball, especially on a short week. So
we're also going away this weekend, so we're going away Saturday. Cliff House again. Saturday, and we're coming back. Yeah, Monday. We'll go slow crawl out of there. Use the pool a little bit, maybe. Have a lobster roll. Rough day.
That's what.
Speaking of starting ahead, I've been literally trying just 2, maybe 3 times a week. I'm only doing twice. I get up at like 3 a.m. Lights out, dude.
So I'm a early riser, the between 4 and 5. 4 is amazing, but 4:30 is probably pretty consistent. 3 might be a little early. How's your end of day performance?
It's good. I got up at 3:15 today.
Okay, and what's your normal? Say you were getting up at 6 before, your normal head hitting the pillow, going to bed.
I go to bed early. I'm in bed between 9 and 10 every night.
Okay, so do you think
today will be maybe I might go a little early.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 8:30. It depends when the kids go to bed. You know the deal. If they're going to bed, then I'm going to bed. That's how it works. That's how it works on those days because I'm not doing it every day right now.
Got it.
I find that, if you just think about it, I was up a little bit past 3, had something to eat, had a cup of coffee. You're into 3 hours of like incredible productive work.
Productivity is great. And before kids, I used to do that on the weekends. Like if my wife was going out with friends or like getting ready for something, I would just do like a 9 to 1 or a 1 to 5. Because it was like, college football in the background, you just get some stuff done. It feels, rarely can you sit at your desk and type away on a Tuesday.
Yeah, uninterrupted.
You're fielding phone calls. You're fielding questions.
So I guess we'll back into it. Getting up early, underrated.
Extremely underrated.
Yeah, really difficult to consistently pull off, I think.
I'm good at getting up early, but I'm terrible. It's like I'm a bad night networker. Going to the Bruins game, going to the Celtics game, staying the whole game, and then trying to be productive.
Even the Pats game Sunday, which I ended up falling asleep for in the fourth quarter. Sure. I was like, we got this one in the bag. I got to snooze.
Yeah.
It completely ruined my Monday morning.
It's a lot. So I'm much better in the morning. So I think it's an underrated time to get up. But I know some people are just like, I'm more of a night owl. Yeah. I just think the morning is more socially acceptable these days.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
If you're sending emails at 1 in the morning, people are like, what are you doing?
I just schedule them. You do that yet?
No, I don't do that.
Oh, man. I love it. I love scheduling emails. All right. Some real estate based underrated, overrated listing in January.
Depending on the property and if you need to sell. But I think in general, it's probably underrated because I think you can really get 2 things. I think if you went on, you could find someone, get the deal done, and have it be smooth because, just that time of year where, there's not a ton of, the lenders aren't jammed, the attorneys aren't jammed, we can get going. Also, you can always relist. So if you did this little kind of target marketing for a few weeks in January and you said, wow, good weather, no one's coming out. Yeah. I had a few local brokers that really crush it with buyers, and they all said it's not going to sell at this price because you take it off, you make your changes, and you're back on in March. You really didn't lose any of that swing market share.
That's true. Completely agree. I think it's super underrated as well. We listed a couple properties last week, a couple properties today already. I think this is some of the best time to actually get your property in the market. Everyone says, oh, I'll wait for the spring. I'll wait for the spring. If everyone waits for the spring, it's not the spring, right? So the amount of inventory that completely fell off a cliff last few weeks heading into the holiday, we're at kind of the low point of the year or one of the low points all year long. And so I think right now, if you think about all of the households that are formed, like, you know, how many people got engaged, announcing they're having kids or making the proclamation that they're going to move, rates go down, you know, all of a sudden inventory is low. It creates this perfect storm for sellers, I think. So I think getting the property in the market is super underrated.
And since 2020, spring market really starts the last week of February.
I think it starts the last week of January. I got to be honest with you.
It's not this like, you know, April like it used to be.
Yeah, it's definitely earlier for sure. I don't know who's farting around out there right now, ruining my vibe. All right, let's do this one. What about early on price corrections?
So again, I think it depends on what the feedback is. I think if you put it on in January and we have the long weekend, we have a snowstorm, you have, you know, just people who, you know, you're selling this family type house, you have ski weekends, it goes into February vacation. I think you might adjust because you put it on at the wrong time. Yeah. And you didn't pre-market properly. Yeah. But I also like if it's on for 2 weeks and you price adjust, I think the natural reaction is something is wrong. This is a fire sale. Oh, interesting. My opinion.
Interesting. So I am an advocate for a price correction, usually at the 20 to 30 day mark.
Do you think that's quick? I don't think 30 days is quick, though.
No, it's not. Okay. So I've been trying to. I agree with you. So early on price drops, overrated. I think we're saying, right? Yes. I think it really depends on the property and the listing strategy. But if you have something on the market and no one is coming to look at the property, it's the price.
Sure.
It's got to be, you know, obviously we could talk about presentation, blah, 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 and marketing. The reality is I could draw a stick figure of a house. If it's priced right, it's still going to move.
$1,
yeah,
you know,
right.
Exactly. And went up, like it's going to sell at some point. Yeah,
exactly. So I think, you know, there's a fine line of when to price drop the property. I don't want to chase the market down. I also don't want a fire sale property. I also am a proponent of what's more what nets the seller more money. Is it a pull? Is it a refresh like paint, staging? Sure. You know, spending $5,000 to $10,000 on some of that stuff is better than a 3 to 5% price drop, depending on the property, right? So, but yeah, I do like doing a price correction closer to that 30-day mark, but I do think that depending on the market, like 30 days is a long time.
Now, if you had some people through, would you reach out to them before publicly dropping the price?
I think it depends. I mean, we try to, right? So whether we use showing time a lot. So often if we're going to move the price, there's an alert that can go out to those folks. Okay. We have the list of everyone that came through. And so we'll talk about, in general, like we've probably already followed up with them. We're not following up with them specifically that we might lower the price. We might say things like, hey, I know you checked out this property last week, Nick. It's currently still available. There was no offers on the property last week, or we got an offer, but it wasn't acceptable. I know that you guys were concerned about how many offers the property might get. Did you guys want to schedule a private showing or something like that? Go back. I mean, at this point, the seller would be pretty thrilled with something around list price. You know, obviously, there's no other offers, like, you know, kind of fair game. I think we're doing more of that, other than, hey, I'm moving the price down to X.
And maybe a broader question, but what is before you go live? Are you talking that strategy with the sellers so it doesn't catch them off guard?
Yeah, so it really depends on the property. I mean, ultimately, I used to pick the price a lot. I'm very, very clear that the seller has to pick the price here. I provide the data. They pick the listing price point. They also pick the listing strategy. So I always tell people, this is going to be long. I'm sorry. Like, there's 3 ways to price homes. You can price them high. You can price them around perceived market value, and you can price them low. Right. So what happens when you price a property high? You know, this is when it's on the water. It's a unique property. It's a custom build, something like that. Or there's limited no inventory. Maybe it's new construction. There's some sort of view, premium, right? Ultimately right now, Nick, I don't think this is the best strategy for you. Your home is not one of those things. So that leaves us with only 2 strategies left, right? So the next one's perceived market value. Based off all the data I came up, it's worth between $750,000 and $800,000. Okay. So $800,000 might be more on the high side. $750,000 might be more on the low side. Okay. So the perceived value is somewhere in that range. I'd expect that if you were on market in and around that range, you're more than likely to procure offers on the property within the first X many days, something around days on market in the area. You can tell I've said this a few times, right? And then, you know, the third option, which is a pretty competitive, it's what some of my smartest sellers do, is they underprice the property. When you underprice the property, what you're trying to do is really get into some sort of bidding war on the property. And the goal would be to push the property value all the way up through maybe that perceived mid value range, right? So now here's the deal, Nick. Unfortunately, right now, pricing low it can be a tough strategy, because if it doesn't sell in the middle of January in week 1 or 2, what are you going to do? Raise the price? Which, as you know, some of my clients have done before, right? So, so I let them pick it, and they're like, "Yeah, no, I think when I used to say even just a minor language change there, I used to say fair market value, and then they would nail me to the cross and be like, well, you said it was worth $770. Well, so now I'm like, this is the perceived value. Sure. Well, guess what? Perception is going to change when nobody comes to buy the house here in a few weeks. So, and so I always tell them if we have people through the door but no offers, and people start telling us things like, oh, the yard's really nice, whatever, like the feedback is the price. I was in a client's house the other day, and he kept telling me, everyone just kept telling us we wish we had a second bathroom. We wish we had a second bathroom. Which if it had a second bathroom, I would have bought it. And I go, like, that was the feedback. Like, are you going to add the second bathroom? No, okay, it's the price, man. Yeah. Right. So, but yeah, we're always sitting on that, and we're kind of getting at our strategy of when or what we're going to do to move the price or the marketing strategy down. Also, when we list, we book what's called a listing review meeting. So it's about 14 to 18 days on market. Buys me a lot of space in my first 2 hottest weeks of marketing. And that's when we'll go in and review all the data about the market. So sorry for the long anser. No, but
I mean, but that's the stuff that you want to hear, because why are these things moving? Like, you're not unilaterally doing this. This is a plan of, probably use a better analogy here, but it's like going to war. Like, we want, like, if this happens, we're going to do something else, and here's why, and it's a team effort. This isn't just a list agent effort. Yeah,
and there's battlefield adjustments, right? So we're always calling the shots as we see it, depending on the lay of the land, right? So to track with the analogy.
I'll give your team a quick shout out. But what would you say that your average days on market are? I'm guessing you're
the days on market I actually don't know off the top of my head, but the average list to sales price ratio, which I think is the success matrix for like how well we price homes, we're around 101, 102 right now. Awesome. I think in COVID, when things got bid up, is 104, 106. Wow. But yeah, we're pricing right. And like, the last thing I want to do is take someone's listing and have it not sell. It's the freaking worst thing that we could do. Because then you're in the sell it before they hate you strategy. So
I'm lucky enough to work on a lot of like the high end, Back Bay, South End properties, Beacon Hill. And
thanks for the referral.
And the list agents say, and I'm getting it from the agent. The list agents are like, yeah, we know it's not going to sell at this price. I'm like, well, what was that conversation like?
Yeah, I think not to go on a complete drawl here, but do you think the difference between 7 and 6.5 million matters to that buyer?
Kind of. Wait.
Wow, you really choked on that one.
Call back to what you said about, like, is it a unique property? So, like, is this something they can replicate? So if I can go down, from Arlington to Berkeley and get another townhouse that's extremely similar, then yeah, it does matter, because I want to have perceived value that it was worth it. Yeah. But if it's, hey, this is the only one that has a 3-car garage that you're going to find on the the flats of Beacon Hill, like, you're going to pay that premium because you can't go and replicate it. Even people with money will go, like, if I like watches, in the black market watch world, like, you can go gray market, they call it. You can go and pay extra money for it. People just do it. If double the money and you can get the watch tomorrow, you're not going to go to the AD and wait around on this wait list. Just go pay it. But if I can just buy it somewhere else cheaper or wait a week, I'll just wait the week. Yeah. I think it's interesting because I see pricing, especially at the luxury price point, really be all over the place. And I've seen stuff that was on the market for 12 million. I go, geez, I don't even know if I was looking at this morning for a client. I was like, I don't know if that's even worth 8 million. Sure. But like, I guess when it's just 12 million and they're striping a check for it, they have it. It's a lot, it sounds like bad or like greedy, but I think sometimes, like, some of those homes get to be a little bit more priceless than, it's always this is the list price, I think that's just part of the strategy. The unique features, the outdoor space, the garages, the address. I mean, I think if it's worth 8.5, 9 and they put it on for 12 and they get 10, then I think they're psyched. Sure. So I don't know, there's some weirdness to that strategy, but I do agree that, like, that part of that market is just super
slow and unpredictable.
It is unpredictable.
You know, but like I'll go back to like the deal we did over in Cambridge this year. Like
awesome.
just the amount of interest that the buyers are making. Like, you know, we get all the proof of funds and whatnot. Like the amount of interest they're making in their accounts monthly. It doesn't make me think that, you know, $2, $3, $4, $500,000 is a big deal,
sure.
which is, you know, crazy. So, all right, good convo. Price per square foot, underrated, overrated.
I'm going to go with my general perception is overrated.
I couldn't agree more.
Because I've just had way too many people with condos who are like, hey,
but the price per square foot is $800.
no,
and so
they,
this
worse. They go, I'm willing to pay $750 per square foot, but they're off by 10 square feet, so I want to get this money back. I'm like, that's not how it works. Like, that's not.
You know what I've started to see a lot now in these listings is a seller will not renegotiate square footage.
Good.
I'm just like, this is absurd.
Well, let's put those things on there because things are approximate. Now, most developers...
I put it in one of my recent listings.
Most new construction is being measured... Because remember, like you own your
floor plan.
You own your 4 walls, but also like you technically can own into the middle. You could actually own all the way to the interior plane of the exterior wall, stuff like that. So if you want to talk about like measuring what you actually own, like people don't want to own the stairwell going up to the second floor, but it's like if you do, that's square footage. You know, so I think more. I think it hurts people more than it helps them.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting, like in a town like Winthrop, Revere, Lynn, all these outskirts town of Boston, we would never in a million years use price per square foot to comp a property. But like the second you click into the city, it's like
it's each neighborhood. I tell people all the time, I'm like, you know, Southie, my best brand new construction, you know, you might kiss $1,100 a square foot, but it's probably closer to like $950 to $1,000.
Yeah.
But we know that house in the South End is always going to be higher.
100%.
That house in the Back Bay is going to be higher than the South End.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the progression. So the second, like Southie can't jump the South End. The South End can't jump the Back Bay.
Yeah, you know, so what you just said is one of my biggest problems with square footage because in theory it could.
Correct.
If it became more desirable, but it never will because people will always fall back on the sort of, oh, well, that price per square foot is completely out of whack.
Yep.
And it's very block by block in the city.
Yep.
And so, no one would ever pay $1,200 a square foot in this block. But like the reality is that's what's stopping transactions, I think sometimes more so, is the realtor giving their opinion of price per square foot versus the buyer just simply, I'd like to buy this property. Correct. And they get involved, and now we're in this egregious negotiation. I sold a condo in the South End. It unfortunately sold for far less than even she had paid for it due to some special assessments in the building and whatnot. But like the reality is when she bought, she paid a premium for a price per square foot in there. And so then by the time the price per square foot, which barely ever inches up, it goes up like never. It's always just like $1,100 on this block, $1,150 on this block. And so if the price per square foot never really edges that much higher, how do you ever actually appreciate in those parts of the city? You know, but yet they're some of the most popular parts of the city.
But you would say that we probably don't have the issue with single families as much.
No.
And the only time I really see it being an issue, and it will happen occasionally, is, you know, you're buying based off floor plans.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah, new construction, new dev.
And you come in and they're like, oh, we thought it was going to be, you know, 1,800 square feet. It's really only 1,650. It's like, well, at that point, I didn't get to see it physically.
Yeah,
I might start negotiating right now on the price per square foot.
Yeah, fair. Well, that's the thing too, and I've argued about this with a lot of my clients, is of course the developers all want to use like the wall-to-wall,
yes, exactly,
you know, architectural design plan. Yet, like when we're going to go in and market a home, we're going to pull our own floor plan. So, listen, if the floor plan that I measure are public record, whatever's bigger, we'll use. But I can't then just break both of those and go use some architectural plan for something that wasn't even built yet, and then hang our comp on price per square foot.
Yep.
Like that's where I think you find to be overpricing property. So, Greenland? No, I don't know. I don't have anything else. I don't have anything else on the underrated, overrated list in the middle of January. Wasn't too much to hit on. Cliff House underrated. You got to go.
Yeah, no,
Margaritaville,
I can't
underrated.
wait. I'll let you know how that goes.
I have a pretty firm underrated from a couple reliable sources.
Sweet. I can't wait then.
Yeah.
Be good.
Cool. Well, another episode wrapped here of Bad Deals Only. Like, comment, subscribe, share.
All the things.
Do all the things.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Bad Deals Only podcast. If you like this content, share it with a friend or a family member or somebody in the industry, and subscribe and share.